Hey, how are you guys doing? In this video, we are going to be looking at NIO. That's going to be ticker symbol NIO. Now, the EV market has been on an absolute tear. Some people are a little bit worried that it may be a bubble. NIO hitting record delivery numbers in this past quarter at 10,000 vehicles. Tesla also delivering record numbers at around 90,000 vehicles, sending these stock prices soaring. In the past month, NIO has quadrupled its share price, moving from about $3.50 closing today around $11.50, and after hours moving upwards of $12 a share as we approach that all-time high at $13.80 per share. So we really want to dive into NIO, look what it has done over the course of its trading history, or the long term of its trading. Then we also want to look at the past few days worth of trading and kind of get an idea of what are the buyers doing, what are the sellers doing, how is the price moving, and that will give us a better gauge as to where we might see NIO go, where some support levels may be, and where some resistance levels may also be. So with that, let's dive in here to the weekly chart. Now specifically, we're wanting to look here at these past few weeks and compare them to what we have seen in the past. So what we can see here is from about late May to early June, we saw a heavy push up, and then we kind of staggered around a little bit. After we broke through this $6 price point, we kind of staggered right below $7.75. And this is a level that I pointed out to you guys in the past that was going to be a bit tough to break through. Now, as we closed out last week, with it being a shortened week of trading, we closed right above it, which was a good sign. We closed on a positive note right in here around $8 a share. And then as we opened up today, we opened right around $9 a share, and then we just surged. We pushed higher and higher, up again 22% today, and then we have pushed on here in the after hours. So we blew through the 775 resistance, and now we have even charged above these tops up here around $10 a share. So if we were to pull back from our current level, that is where I would want to see us find some sort of support. Again, it's probably going to be moving really quickly, a lot of volatility. There's a lot of liquidity in the market with people who are just wanting to jump in and jump out. So if we swing below a $10 price point as being a resistance by, say, a quarter or so, I wouldn't be too surprised if it came to that. But nonetheless, I think the next real resistance here for NIO is going to be right around $13.80 as we go and we test that all-time high. So we'll go ahead and throw a level in right there. So that's really all we're going to get here from this long-term time frame. We blew through the $8 or $7.75 resistance. Now we are trading around $11.50. Again, after hours, we've pushed up to about $12, but we pushed through that $10 resistance, and now we're moving upwards here towards $13.80. Now, one last thing before we move into the shorter time frame is I do want to point out here on the RSI, we are at a very high level, right around 83. And if we move this out and it kind of gives us a better look here at the RSI, we are way to the overbought side. And you may look at that and think, oh, okay, I need to cash in. This thing could shoot down at any moment. And yes, that is true, and that is good to keep in the back of your head, to be a little bit, worried that this thing could turn down just as quickly as it ran up. I do want to point out on another very well-known EV stock would be Tesla. I want to point out something from a few years ago here on Tesla. So again, this is the weekly chart, and I want to point out here on its RSI that as we were trading right in here around $360, this was just in the latter part of last year, we pushed, again, the RSI is already overbought. We're right around the 80 point mark here on the RSI, and we still pushed up from about $425 a share all the way up here to $800. So we still doubled the stock price, even though we were overbought. So the market is very irrational at times, and you can see we had this big swing. There was a lot involved with that, but the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. So you would hear of all these people who are shorting Tesla, and they are just getting burned. And while Tesla may be at a higher price point than it really should be valued at, if you are on the wrong side of that trade, you can be burned whether or not you are right in the current time frame, if that makes sense. So while NIO is overbought, we have seen from another electric vehicle company that this can go on for a long period of time. There's several charts that I can put up onto the screen to show you that this can happen. It's the same thing on the downside. A stock can be oversold for a long period of time. It's not like it dips below 20 on the RSI and, buyers need to step in and move it back up. That is not the case. So with that, let's swing on back to NIO and move into the more current trading. So we're going to go ahead in here and look at the hourly chart. Again, oversold or overbought here on the RSI, and you can see that we have pushed up pretty extravagantly. Here was last Thursday's worth of trading. You can see we were pretty much flat right in here, making a resistance right around $9.40, and then we pushed up after hours, and then again here pre-market today. And then when you look at today's trading, our big resistance was right around $12, and you can see that now we're actually trading at $12 and about 20 cents. So after hours again, we have pushed higher. We set a low in here down around $11, and we can see that a little bit clearer here on the 5-day 5-minute chart, which will give us a little bit better levels to look at. So we're going to zoom in a little bit more. Let's squish this down so we can get a better view of that chart. Again, here was our resistance. We're going to throw these lines in here for support now. So if NIO were to reverse and move back down, what would be some support levels? We can look back at the previous trading and get that. So here we can say that $9.40 is going to be a support level. You could even say that right in here, this after hours trading would be a support, but I wouldn't bank on it too much as there's not a lot of volume, not a lot of traders that are going to be trading in that after hour period. But you could say that around $9.75 could also be a support. Now, if we look a little bit closer at today's trading, it gives us some good signs as we move forward where we could see NIO's price go. So let's start with the early morning trading, right? This is going to be pre-market. We saw this big gap up all the way to $11 a share. From there, we pulled back down all the way down here to about $10.60. So that was our top, right? Right in there at $11 per share. We gathered some support right in here in the pre-market hours at $10.60, and we started to push up. And by about 6 a.m., we had surged through $11 a share all the way up here to about $11.60 or $11.50, which makes sense. Usually on these lower price stocks, those dollar increments and 50-cent increments are going to be support and resistance levels. So, these 50-cent and whole dollar increments, it makes sense that there's support and resistance levels there. Now, right as we were coming into the open, if we looked back and we were thinking, oh, this thing's trading down, where are we going to find support? We could see that that our previous resistance at $11, what is it now? Now that we've broken through it, it is a support. So right as this thing opened, we saw a lot of volume come in, a heavy volume come in, buying these shares at $11, sending them all the way up here in just, say, 15 to 20 minutes from the market open, all the way up here, surging through $12 a share. You can see we capped out here at $12.30. We then traded back down, finding some support around $11.50 and kind of pushing back up, but consistently making lower highs. And that eventually led to this deeper correction during the day, all the way down here towards $11 a share. Now, we saw that again as a pre-market resistance and open, right as we opened, that was the support. So when we came back down, we actually dipped below it, and it looked as if we could head lower than that open low, right? But we saw a buyer step in, and this thing swung back higher, pushing all the way back up to that $11.50, what used to be support, now resistance, as we came up on it, and we pushed through into the close. So that was good strength in my eyes, that this thing had some stamina, a nice, strong, solid close. People weren't looking to take their profits and run. They might be in this thing for a little bit longer than just today's trading, and today's gain of about 23%. Now, after hours, we can see, again, we had this push all the way up here to $12. We then trended back down right in here around $11.75, and now since then we have bounced above that, and we're trading around $12.20. So it looks as if we are continuing this strength while we are overbought on the longer term time frame, and even some of these shorter term time frames we're still overbought. NIO continues to trend upward, and I think we're going to continue to trend upward until we get closer to that $13.80 level. As we near that $13.80 level, I think at that point we are going to start to see people maybe shrink their position a little bit. So maybe right as we get in towards $13 a share, $13.50, we might start to see it slow down a little bit, and people take profits. From there, we may see a big rush of buyers that sends us above $13.80, or we could come back down here towards $10 a share. So these are just some things to keep in mind. The current strength of the stock is to the upside, but you need to stay on your toes in case it does make a reversal. In that case, we want to look at some areas of support. Again, these are some areas that I've pointed out on that 5-minute chart, down here around $11.50, which is right around where we closed, down here around $11, down here in the $10.60 price point, and then down here around $10. So, these are some big losses if it were to move to the downside, so you want to be aware of them. And, these might not be the levels that you're specifically wanting to look at, but this is just from another trader to you guys what I would be looking at when trading NIO. So hopefully this helped you guys out. Again, I do see NIO moving higher in the future, but I do want to stay on my toes and have a plan in place in case my initial idea does not work out. I hope you guys do the same. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like or leave a comment on how you think I can make these videos better for the future. So with that, I will catch you guys in the next one.